establishment both in that country and elsewhere. The country, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one, 66A2, where a person is carrying on a business through a permanent establishment in India and through another permanent establishment in a country other than India. Such permanent establishments shall be treated as separate persons for the purpose of this section. So you need to undertake business. Now 66A is carrying on business, and of course now it is saying carry on, both are saying carry on business. So the question is that when you have a license office, will you be treated as a separate person or the same person? First question. Second question, if you are not treated as a separate person, then will you have to pay kind of a reverse charge for all the expenses undertaken incurred by the license office? Because then even if there is a management consultant who provides some assistance or an advertising agent who provides certain assistance to the branch, they will say, you receive the services, you will pay under the reverse charge. Of course, if it's rent, you will say it's a 4A and you will not pay service tax. Sorry, it's a Rule 5 service and you will not pay service tax. So that is every expense needs to be classified by the place of provision of services rules, and then you determine whether you need to pay tax there or not. So now the word business becomes important to determine whether that constitutes a separate establishment or not. To my mind, when it comes to a license office, what does a license office do? The function of a license office, one, of course, you need to take a permission to set up a license office in India as well as abroad. The license office essentially will be doing some marketing activities, will be doing some business promotion activities. They will go and meet some prospective customers. They will help establish connect between the Indian head office and the customers. They will undertake some branding exercise. They will undertake some sponsorship exercises. They may undertake some conduct some seminars and things like that. So all of these activities are undertaken. And since the business is not defined, I feel that activities done by a license office also in a way is an activity in relation to business or constitutes an activity comprising in the business. And therefore, when it is carrying on a business, it is not doing it for fun. These are all business activities, business expenditure of India. And therefore, I will argue that the activities of a license office are in a way a business in nature. They are not, when you say business, it doesn't mean business of actually trading and providing services or buying and selling goods. In maybe business or marketing is a transaction in the nature of business also. And therefore, you need to treat it as distinct transactions, distinct entities at par with a regular branch which is actually providing services or buying and selling goods on your behalf. And therefore, you will have to also treat this as any other branch. The answers which I gave for the previous case or issue 2 should hold good over here also. That's what I feel. Yes, sir.
66A2 earlier had the word permanent. Now in explanation 3 the word permanent is used.
Sorry.
Permanent establishment. Yes. What's the difference, sir? Earlier the word permanent.
Sir,
so here the word permanent is.
So sir, I felt that the word permanent establishment is not read in the context of what we call under the Enterprise Act. A permanent establishment means a fixed place of business, more akin to a fixed establishment the way it is defined under location of the service provider recipient, where you have an office, you have some staff, you have some activities which are undertaken. Therefore, I am interpreting the word permanent establishment as an establishment which is having some permanence and not just someone who is visiting.
What's fixed establishment then?
So fixed establishment is now this word permanent establishment is we have fixed establishment after 2012.
There's a mess in the section. You don't be.
No.
The problem is not with you.
No,
the section.
That's not. What I'm saying is now after this I'm reading permanent establishments similar to fixed establishment. I'm really including them.
What I was
Just 1 minute, Krishna. This is the point. I'm told hundreds of notices are being issued in Pune or something. I'm not saying I'm right in that. What Parind said about fixed permanent establishment, we should not import income tax concept. Okay, that's one view. In fact, there's an ECJ judgment saying so, that income tax concept permanent establishment is not relevant. I don't agree with that. This section is a section which imposes a levy. Okay, it's a charging section, therefore should be strictly construed. It's also an artificial provision. Who are not different entities, it deems to a same entity, different entities. Plus, the legislature uses different terms in that section: fixed establishment, business establishment, permanent establishment, branch, etc. So these cannot be treated as a loose and careless drafting. We must assume that's been drafted with precision and care, and therefore they are different words. What the meaning of permanent establishment is a different question, but you cannot treat it on par with business establishment, fixed establishment. And therefore, ordinary connotation of permanent establishment is not by a special meaning in Income Tax Act. A country of residence, the head office is never treated as a permanent establishment. The word permanent establishment has obtained a technical meaning, namely in the country other than where you are incorporated. So Indian companies having branches outside India will not treat it as branch vis-a-vis head office, will not be one permanent establishment, another permanent establishment. That's the point we want to develop. If Citibank Singapore renders service to Bombay Citibank, vice versa, they may be. But Tech Mahindra India Limited, which is an Indian company, has a branch abroad. India cannot be called permanent establishment. Branch may be called permanent establishment, no problem. One permanent establishment to another permanent establishment should not be covering such a head office as a branch.
Sir, I only wanted to draw kind attention. In 66A2 in the earlier section, the word permanent.
Earlier section only.
That time the word permanent was there.
Now, no.
Yes.
This argument, what we said is pre-July 2012.
Now the word is only established.
Yes.
Establishment means person and place. Two things should be there for an establishment.
Well, I think with that, Krishna just have closed.
What he's pointing out is very relevant. Maybe the license office, your answer may be different. If it is pre, it may not be liable. But post, your book, I think, perhaps what is developing. And that's what I also wanted to say. The word permanent was there before. The license office may not be considered. And now the word permanent is removed.
So, in your view, with that change of permanent, earlier the license office may become taxable, now it may be safer to say it's not taxable.
No, what I want to only draw is that when the word permanent is significant because it means there is some degree of permanence. Yes. If for a limited purpose an office is open and there is an establishment place and two things are required, place and people for establishment, it may not be covered because there is no degree of permanence. Unless there is a degree of permanence, it may, the intention is not to be office.
But if it is
under the prior law.
Under the prior law. But as a degree of permanence, also a license office may have a degree of permanence in terms of certain activities.
Facts of that.
Yeah.
So there are some license office with no degree of permanence.
That's true. Well, I think we may skip over the remaining questions remaining another 15-20 minutes, but shall we close with that?
President,
We are already beyond
time cap. Close. Yeah. Sorry. In fact, we are the losers.
हमको अलग से बता देना.
I prepared and I could not talk.
हम लोग अलग से बता देना.
So what I can suggest is if anyone has questions, we can take it during the lunch break, so that we don't delay everyone.
Excellent, I am very.
Well, there was a great marathon session, master blaster, I would say. I think the 2 hours, it was, it reminds me of NTB airport, if you remember, in 16 minutes at NTB airport. So this was 120 minutes, fantastic. I think he's dealt with, while there was speed, there was also great clarity. And I think one more thing I noticed which I have learned, all the rules, sections are all at this stage. He doesn't have to refer anything. We have to keep reading. So this is a fantastic and we are totally obliged to you. Though 3 questions have been answered, we will ensure that we are not losers in 2 ways. Maybe lunch, that's one thing. And we might try to call in time permitting in a study circle where we can deal with these 3 things depending on this kind of thing. Thank you very much. But wait, there is a vote of thanks for Parind, well deserved. Plus, there is a short concluding session. I know we have enjoyed for a long time. But please, another 15 minutes, and we close.
Friends, already you have given the vote of thanks to Parind Bhai. I have to give the formal vote of thanks. But before that, there are some announcements. You have been given the feedback form. Please spare some time and give it after duly filling, don't blank, duly filling. Give it to Hiten Bhai or Anand of our chamber so that we can, do the better work next time. Secondly, we will be failing in our duty if we do not facilitate our very hard-working, group leaders. And I will start with the ladies first. Payal, please come. Payal Shah. And Paris, I request you to felicitate her with the moment of this. Another very young and dynamic group leader, Yash Chadha from the Jaipur. Yes, I was in his group. He led such groups in such a great manner. I really become a fan of yours, sir. And thirdly, I will call our very seasoned group leader. I will not call him Mr. Sanjay Gurad, it's a Dr. Sanjay Gurad. Please come, Sanjay. This gentleman has done the doctorate in service tax. That is something critical. So now, you have to wait for, after the Word of Thanks, you have to wait for the concluding session. I will, about the Word of Thanks, Parind Bhai, what Mr. Krishnan says, marathon paper, dealt with masterly manner. Secondly, it's like, every good lunch ends with a great dessert. I will tell you, this paper was a great dessert for all of us. So we are just giving out the last report. We all are thanking to you very much. And I will request office bearers to please take out the chair for the concluding session. It will, I think, they will request, they will told us it will be completed in 5-7 minutes, right? Please. Yeah. Thank you very much.
बंद किया कैमरा करो बंद नहीं चालू खाली बुक चालू बच्ची कर दो